everyone, and welcome to another episode of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black, coming to you live, yes, all the way live from Black Pearl Studios, where we talk about Indiana politics from the left side of things. Black History Month is away, and we are talking about the importance and the significance of Black contributions in American history. Now, look, Governor Ron DeSantis, unfortunately, hasn't gotten the memo. He doesn't understand how American history and Black history has educational value. That's because he's a racist. I'm sorry, I know y'all get offended when that R word come up, but anytime you say Black history and all the contributions that African Americans have done to create this great nation, it doesn't have any educational value, you're a racist. Claim it, own it, put it in your pocket, and use it at the ATM machine. That's all I'm saying. And then to really put a cherry on top on his narcissism, he wanted to ask the question of, well, how does queer theory fit into Black history? Because obviously there's never, ever been a Black queer person. Other than Indiana's own, of course, right? I'm the only one that's made contributions to our society. Listen, when you're a racist, you probably shouldn't be making decisions about, what kids should be learning in school. And maybe if you teach some Black history, some real Black history, then maybe there'll be some empathy and sympathy for people whom you don't actually spend a lot of time with. You can learn about their situations, learn about the issues that created the plight that they may or may not find themselves in, and those who have succeeded despite all of the obstacles that have been put in their way. You can learn about their resilience and their tenacity and their desire to be free. You can learn those things. You can learn about how amazing Black women have been, and all us queer ones too. That way you can have a friend in the business. But he doesn't want that. No. This clown. He doesn't want that. He says learning about Black folks has no educational value. I'm going to let y'all sit on that. Because in that very same week, see, it's that mentality that unfortunately made us have to witness the untimely demise of Tyree Nichols. I don't know if you've seen the video. I don't know if your person can handle the video. It is shocking, disturbing, and downright terrible. And honestly, I feel worse about it because it was 5 Black men. 5 Black men over 200 pounds beating up a skateboard-loving brother that's probably $185 soaking wet. And I know y'all gonna ask me, well, Dana, they all Black men. What does race have to do with this? Because it's a system. It's a culture. See, we in the Black community, because we study Black history, we know some things. We know that we have traitors among us. We know that there are enough Black folk among us who will sell us out to uphold white supremacy. They will sell us out, sell us down the river. I mean, honestly, do you think the real slave catchers could have actually caught the slaves? Really? We know how to hide. Enablers, the enablers, white supremacist enablers would always sell us out. They will do the dirty work for the white supremacists. And so that's what makes it bad. But you know what? There was a Black woman that is the chief of police in Memphis, Tennessee. And I don't know if y'all's parents, when y'all went shopping as a kid, ever sat you down before they put you in the car. And my mother, all 5'3" of her, would look me dead in my eye with the sternest look on her face and say, we're going to the store. Don't ask for nothing, don't touch nothing, and don't embarrass me in these streets. Did y'all mama do that? I know my mother did. I know she did. If I had embarrassed my mother in the streets, oh my God, my behind would have been all shades of toe up. That chief of police said, you embarrassed me in these streets. I'm going to need y'all to sit down. She got rid of those boys lickety split. Now, of course, the conversation can turn to, well, it was quick to, fire those black men because it takes 6, 7 a year sometimes to fire white officers who kill black people. Yes, that conversation is there, but it's still the culture. And I'm sick and tired of listening to people talk about all these good police officers. I'm sorry, a good police officer would put the bad police officers in check so we don't have these issues. But unfortunately, the good police officers can't. They are behind that thin blue line. And if they want to survive behind the thin blue line, they got to keep their mouth shut too. I need you to understand. This is cultural. They do the best they can, when they can, how they can. But when you're behind that thin blue line, that space that was derived from the slave catcher, the slave patrol, the organization whose original design was to control and manage black, brown, red, and yellow bodies. My heart is broke. And Friday must have been Trauma Friday because we saw the Paul Pelosi video too. That was just, there's a lot of stuff happening. And I need y'all to check on your mental health, check on your emotional health. And black folk, it's Black History Month. And even before the month started, we had to have our heart broken once again at watching the demise of a skateboard-loving, sunset-watching father of 29 years old. They beat that boy so bad, they were tired. They needed to get some wind. That is tragedy. But we have a way of taking care of our own. I'm just saying. They're going down. Their life is over. I'm sorry for the brothers. No, I'm not. Not really. I say that because I don't want nobody to be hurt, but they about to get theirs. Anyway, Indiana's own Dana Black. Listen, the State House is popping. You guys, if you are fortunate enough and you have the time on your hand and you need some background noise while you working during the day, if you work from home, or you could put headphones in and do your thing, y'all got to tune in to what the heck is going on at the State House. Whoo, bizarro world. That's all I'm saying, bizarro world. Let me tell you about just a few things. And I'm going to make it quick because I don't want to spend too much time talking because I got some great guests today. The Indianapolis Star reports there's another school choice expansion bill out there. School choice options likely will be expanded this session. The first bill that would do so to get a hearing is Senate Bill 305. I kind of mentioned it to you guys before, which would expand the state's education scholarship account program. The ESA program was created 2 years ago and allows income-eligible families with special education students to leave the public education system and take the money that would have gone to a public school for education, educating a student, and spend it on qualifying expenses such as tuition and curricular materials. Originally, 305 would have removed all eligibility criteria. It was amended in committee on January 26 to keep income eligibility guidelines and set aside at least half of the program's funds to continue to be used for special education students. I need y'all to understand. They are finding more unique ways to privatize public education. And if I've said it once, I've said it a gazillion times. I don't understand why the quality of education a child gets should be dependent upon the amount of money the parent makes. I don't understand that. And for those of us in urban areas where we have a plethora of choice to choose from, maybe you ain't bugging. Maybe you ain't tripping. But if you're in rural Indiana, and it's one or two school corporations, what choice do you have? And all they're doing is taking money out of what your budget would have been and giving it to people to spend it however they want. Now, if you got a chance to watch the debate on this particular bill in committee, the question was asked multiple times by Senator Hundley. She asked, well, how much money is it going to cost? We don't know. Well, how many people would want to be in it? We don't know. So you have no idea how many people would want to be in it. Well, how will you know the cutoff? We don't know. So it's first come, first serve. This bill is so horrible. Even with the amendment, income criteria, it takes public money and gives it to private institutions. Y'all, we should, I don't know how many, I've been screaming this since I've been on the show. Why do we keep letting this happen to our kids? All right. This one is huge. You guys need to know about this. Senate Joint Resolution 1, which would give judges the ability to withhold bail for defendants if they pose a substantial risk to the public, passed the Senate 34 to 15 on January 26 and now heads to the House. Currently in Indiana, murder and treason are the only two offenses that bail is automatically withheld. The language SJR 1 would add to the state constitution, authored by Senator Eric Koch of Bedford, is little more than a sentence long and does not give guidance on how judges should determine when to withhold the bail. To become law, it would have to go through 2 general assemblies and a voter referendum before being amended into the state's constitution. The soonest the voters would consider the proposal would be November 2026. Listen, this is dangerous, y'all. They want to lock people up for being accused of a crime and not giving them the opportunity to bail themselves out. And then therefore you are incarcerated until your hearing. They want to make this a constitutional change. This ain't even a bill. This is a constitutional change. They want to lock people up and keep them there. Now, the last time I checked, in the United States of America, you were innocent until proven guilty. So why should I have to sit in jail? Bail is already bad enough. Why should I sit in jail if I have the means to post bail? And the sentence, a substantial risk to the public. Well, what's the substantial risk? Who gets to determine that? If I write a letter, is that a substantial risk? If I go to the grocery store, is that a substantial risk? There's no guidelines. So how do we know what substantial risk is? And what may be a substantial risk to an 89-pound 10-year-old is going to be different than a 285-pound linebacker on the Indianapolis Colts. I need you to understand. This bill, this SJ1 is so bad and so scary, it will impact anybody who makes a mistake. Anybody and everybody. Well, but you already know it's the brown and black folks that'll get locked up first. I'm just saying, look. And I need y'all to understand the significance of this. Get involved. We have a few years to try to stop this thing, but let's get ahead of it before it starts building up steam, right? Before people get behind it, because, everybody hates Indianapolis when all the crime, whatever with all of that. And last one I'm going to talk about real quick. The physician shortage and healthcare affordability is in such disarray in Indiana. The Republican senators are in hastily move a bill forward that some describe as extreme in its current form. Senate Bill 7, authored by Senator Justin Bush, I don't know, Fort Wayne, one of y'all's guys, proposes getting rid of non-compete clauses for physicians, a drastic measure that would go against common industry practice in the hopes of removing barriers to competition and, theoretically, lowering prices for consumers. Non-compete clauses are often written into doctors' employment contracts to restrict them from working at a different hospital within a certain geographic area after they leave their current job to protect the bottom line of the employer they are choosing to leave. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if this is a bad idea or not. I live in Indianapolis where there's like 8 hospitals in a 5-mile radius of me. So I don't know. But if you're in rural Indiana and there's only one facility and for some reason the doctor and the physician's network that he is in decide to part ways and he's your physician, but he can't open up a practice because of his non-compete, what do? And the only argument that I actually heard against this bill was someone who actually owns a conglomerate or a consortium. I'll call it a consortium of multiple physicians. And he was just looking at his dollar amount versus how it impacts the patient. I don't know about that one. I think it's interesting. And I think that we ought to pay attention to it because it's going to impact rural Indiana more than it would the more urban and suburban places in our state. These are bills that are going through a state house. There are so many more. I can't get to all of them because if I want to talk to my guest tonight, I'm going to have to go ahead and let this go. But one last thing, y'all, I'm just going to say this and then I'm just going to let y'all run with it. Abdul Hakim Shabazz is running for the mayor of the city of Indianapolis. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to leave that alone. Whatever. Guys, look. Filing deadline is tomorrow. You're a candidate running in a municipal race. I know your funds are tight. I know you don't have all the resources that you need, but you still have to have content out there created at a reasonable price so that you can share with people your message, right? That's what Black Pro IT Solutions is all about. I am one to offer all these municipal campaigns the tools that they need, the resources that they need, so that you can get your message out. I will help any and everybody. In some of these contested primary races, you'll want to hit me up soon so that you can get your message out on social media, get something up on your YouTube page. You see, I got the tools, I got the green screen, I can do magic with my stuff. Holla at your girl. Let me help you out. I have a flat rate. We could talk about it. Turnover time. I want to help you guys get your message out to the people. And then when we get ready for the general election, you can have different ways of communicating with people. Indiana's own Dana Black, Black Pro Studios. Hit me up. Scan that barcode. Reach out to me. Tell me what you need. Also, if you're hosting events and you need equipment, let me know. All right, I ran a little long on my rant, but there's a lot. I call myself going to cut it short. That just did not happen. But you know what? The cool thing about being the owner, operator of your own podcast, you can do what you want to do. That means we can go a little longer. Hey, I am super excited. Guys, I don't know if y'all know, I have like a podcast groupie crush on the smoothest voice in the business. Y'all know I'm crazy about him. He does the work. He's out here in these streets and he represents Northeast Indiana in the right way. He represents labor in the right way. Y'all give it up for my guest host tonight. I'm running out of adjectives to describe how amazing.
I'll stop then.
Mark Gevaart. Mark, welcome to the show.
Oh, Dana Black, thank you. Love the rant, sister. And we talked before we went on the air, and I said, really, you're only going to just do a short one? I knew I was going to be right on that one. That was beautiful. Thank you, sister. I'm plugged in. I love it. That was great.
I was trying, I was talking as fast as I possibly could to get all of that out.
I'm telling you what, if I was grocery shopping, you burned that list up. That was beautiful. That was
and
great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, is there so much going on? And
that state house is just crazy. The supermajority have lost their damn mind.
Yeah, they have.
Let's remember, you're talking about Justin Bush for just a quick second here. He's a cat from here in Northeast Indiana. He took over David Long's seat. You've heard that name before. Justin's just like the guy, they appointed him, and then because they gerrymandered everything, he can't lose. So in this case here, too, the Federal Trade Commission has brought forward a change that they're going to do away with these NDAs. Stop it. You don't need to legislate this stuff. The only people who are going to benefit from this are maybe the doctors are going to win. I got to talk to a doctor or two that I know and find that out. I want to get to the bottom of that. But reading the language of what he's got here, too, we are not hurting. When we are breaking ground, we are breaking ground for more hospitals and more clinics. So I don't understand. This is if it's Justin Bush, I can tell you there's a roundabout backdoor way he's getting some money from
no doubt.
one of these health conglomerates. And there's only like 5 of them that owned everything in the state. So let's just know that there's more to it than what meets the eye.
Absolutely. I think, you know what, you just gave me an assignment. I think you and I ought to get together, and before, the session is over, we need to bring some experts in and have that conversation. We can stream that out, and I think we need to, because to me it's interesting, even though it really wouldn't, like I said, impact those of us in places where there's multiple choices. I always think about what's happening down in rural Indiana, because when we don't give them the tools that they need, they go and storm the Capitol on January 6th of a year. And they feel like they're not getting what they need, and they feel like they're being neglected. And it's their people that they're voting for that are doing it.
Right. Here in Northeast Indiana, I can tell you right now, it's that rural voter that's in the Congressional District 3 that we're in here, that they need to hear these things. They need to understand it. They just pull the R lever because that's what Grandma and Grandpa and Mom and Dad always did.
Oh, my God, yes. Listen, I know that you are excited about the conversation we're about to have with this rising star. Let me tell you something. Y'all, if y'all have never met my guest, y'all see I got a tie on today.
Yeah, you're clean. I like it.
Everybody, if you've never seen my man, every time he step out, he clean as a whistle. I was like, I got to go shake off some of the dust. Since I've been working from home, I ain't had to wear my suits and ties no more. But he's come in honor of my guest today. I had to clean it up. He's a young Democrat who is making waves and making things happen. He doesn't just talk about it, he is being about it. He's very respectful and he asks questions when he don't know the answer. Y'all give it up for the president of Allen County Young Democrats and candidate for running for Fort Wayne City Council at large, my guest, my homie, my nephew, Sean Johnson. Welcome to the show.
What's going on? What's going on? Thank you so much for having me. I absolutely appreciate being here, and I'm just blessed. Happy Black History Month.
I love it. I love it. You know, we're going to dive in because we're going to divide this show up so that we can make sure that people understand which portions we're talking about. And by the way, guys, I always try to turn these into mini fundraisers. If you like what Sean Johnson is talking about, click on his donate link. It's right there. You can give to his campaign or you can give to the Allen County Young Democrats because they're doing Young gets it done. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
So first up, let's talk about the Allen County Young Democrats before we get started on the good stuff. When did you become the president of this organization?
So I became the president honestly about a year ago. It's been almost a year now that I came in and refurbished everything, added the structure in, rebranded us, and got us back to the community where we need to be.
I think the first time I met you was up at a District 3 Act Blue training. Was that where?
Yep,
I think
it was in
yeah.
Huntington County, and you were sitting up there just doing your thing. I'm like, man, who is that? What is going on? First of all, we're in Huntington County, so I'm like, okay. And then I look and I'm like, everything she's saying makes sense. Let me write that down. And hold on, let me write that down too. Hold on. Oh, let me write that down too. So yeah, definitely in Huntington. So
I love it. And you guys have so much going. I've already been up there once for an event for Young Dems, talking to the folks. Talk about the things that you are trying to do in the role as president of Allen County Young Democrats.
so the first thing is, reestablishing the culture, right? Like anytime you start or do something new, you may have to fix the culture, rebrand the culture, maybe add to the culture. And that was the first thing. People needed to know and understand that, we are serious. Young people care. And the only way to get that done is to present that strong front and let them know where I stand as the incoming president and what I'm going to accept and what I'm not going to accept. And so, we establish that first. And then we move on to how are we going to keep young people engaged? That is the toughest thing. It's always the toughest thing, keeping young folks engaged. So what I like to do is get in the community. Let's grassroot this thing, right? Because we can sit up and sit at a table all day. We can all sit at a table all day and talk about anything. But it does not matter until we bring it to the people. And so that was the second thing I need to do was establish us with the young folks in the community, right? Because that's the target. That's when young people come out and vote, things change, things happen, right? And that's what we needed. So I got out and we hit the block, right? We started knocking on doors.
Not hit the
We
block.
started making phone. Oh yeah, had to hit the block, had to knock on the doors. I mean, we've knocked on so many doors as Young Dems, it's crazy, but that still ain't enough doors. So we kept it going, and then throughout the different events I've been to, I've been able to connect with great people like you, like Mark. I said, you know what? Why don't y'all come down and come talk to the young people? Let us hear how you stand, what you've experienced. And so going through those different experiences and listening to those things allow young people to say, you know what? They did it. We can do it too. We're going to lock in with our president and we're going to make it happen. And those are the first three things that I needed to really establish and get done. And it's working.
I love it. I love it. Jump in here, Mark.
Well, I was going to say it's the week of Sean because I interviewed him on earlier this week on Tuesday, and this Sunday when I release my show, I do a new show every 10 days. It's all Sean Johnson. I just was saying when you were doing your intro, I said, hey, man, I just was listening to the edits. It's great, sounds good. It's 48 minutes, and we talk about his history, talk about a lot of the things he went through. You know, he worked in the Gary Snyder campaign here when
Right, right.
really posted some record things, and it humbled him, and he was very open about that too, because you go in saying, okay, I'm the campaign manager for this guy running for U.S. Congress, and then wow, it's big because he put himself in those rural districts and goes out there into those counties, and that's not an easy thing for a young black man to go to, but he understood and learned from it too. But you don't know till you put yourself out there. Like he's talking about knocking on doors, that's what it's all about. Those are the things that are happening. That's why it's great candidates, the plethora of people who are running for the city council here in Fort Wayne right now is wonderful to see. So great
Competition is
Democrats.
good.
Tough choice for a lot of people, but I love what we're doing.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? Who being a black person walking in spaces that they're not used to seeing, and I would do it like this. I would have my tie on, you know, and at the time I had long locks. Yeah,
he's gonna come correct. You know he is. Yeah,
but I was a chick. They wasn't ready for the woman to be showing up in a tie. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they was like, what are you? You know.
Push that confusion. I love it.
Well, somebody had to do it. You know, somebody had to do it, and I'm a city cat, so I don't have to experience the same things that the folks in the rural areas experience, and it makes no sense to say you need to do this, you need to do that. How am I gonna come in and tell you what you need to do, and I don't live the life that you live? I have zero understanding. I have good internet. I have good running water, right? So
that's
I need to know and understand what's going on, and you don't know until you go and experience and get to know people, and that's a big problem with what goes down in our rural areas is we're making decisions for a group of people who we don't even know.
But you know what's scary about that? I'm glad you brought that up. What's scary about that is that the folks that they send to the State House typically come from those rural areas. They are their neighbors. I know it. You know, they're electing people and they're sending people to the State House who are not even looking out for the interests of the people in the community that they come from. And that's what's so messed up to me. That I never could understand how could a county commissioner or someone from a smaller town go to a convention and talk about all the issues that they're having in their rural community and wonder where folks are to help them fix them. And I'm like, you send two people to the State House to fight on your behalf. What are they doing?
Right. Whatever those R's tell them to do. That's the problem. We get people who, they may be from the rural area, but they're following what someone else told them to do. They don't have their own mind. And that's another issue. We're tapping into things that somebody else told us to do. And that's what separates me from a lot of people. Sean has his own brain. Sean has his own mind. Yes, I have different mentors and people that I talk to, but it's nothing to pick up a book and read. It's nothing to walk to your neighbor's house and knock on the door.
I don't know.
It's 2023 and we spend more time scrolling and on Facebook and Instagram and this and that we're taking away from the things that have actually made us great as a people.
Sean, I don't know. If you in Florida, you can't just pick up a book. Your librarian could go to jail.
well, I guess I'll be sitting there in jail next to her because I lived down there in Florida before, and there's certain things that I get, certain things that I don't get. I do not understand scrapping an entire history of people that built this country. It was not like that when I lived in Florida, and it's shameful that this person. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't want to come out of pocket, but this person decided to scrap an entire world of the truth. Why are you so afraid of the truth?
That's the key to it right there. Great question to ask. In history, in the world, not just here in America, the book banners lose. Period.
Every time. Every time, every time.
Yep.
So talk about the event that you have coming up. And before you talk about the nuts and bolts and the logistics of it, I want to know what your thought process was behind the event. So tell us about the event. The flyer's up February 22nd. I can't read
Yeah.
everything because I'm old and my eyes are small. They don't read small print anymore. But tell the people where the idea came from and then give us all the logistics about it.
So it is a panel, and the panel is Black Women of Excellence. And as a Black man growing up, there's things that I deal with as a Black man, but there is not one group of people who are the most discriminated against on this planet like Black women. The microaggressive behavior, the oh, you changed your hair today, and oh, you do this, and oh, you do that. Those are the kind of things that just bother me. And so I said, you know what? Let's get a panel of some powerful Black women together, and let's have a conversation about the things that they've been through, the things that they go through. So maybe we can educate some folks. I'm big on educating people, because you can sit up and try to talk to somebody all day till they blue in the face. But
Mm-hmm.
when you get a panel full of powerful Black women talking about the things that they've been through, it's gonna spark a nerve. And so I wanted to really utilize my platform as the president of the Young Dems to bring that out. And so the women that we have are just absolutely amazing.
Bangers.
You know, Sheila
Yeah.
Curry Campbell, Councilwoman Auntie Shan Tucker, Danita Bell Washington, you know, Tia Ferguson, Michelle Chambers, Ariel Brandy, state president, who's one of my biggest mentors. You know, those are stories that need to be talked about. People like to hear stories. So we take those stories and we put it in a panel format, and let's get it out there for the people to really understand. And that's my goal behind that is I'm not in the front. Yes, I'm the president, but I'm not in the front. This is for Black women of excellence to get out there and tell their stories, and honestly, gloat a little bit. Let them know your accomplishments,
Oh yeah.
because every single last one of these queens, including yourself, is Black history, period.
Word,
And it
word.
needs to be talked about.
But you know, I want to go one more question, bruh. You not feeling emasculated by all those powerful women? I
Yeah.
don't understand.
No, no. See, I feel
That's what we
comfortable
like.
because I'm comfortable in the skin that I'm in, and they are
Hey,
comfortable in the skin that they're in. And so for me, you know what? I need y'all to go out there, let the world know what it is that you deal with every day as a Black woman. And also, while you letting them know what you deal with, let them know your accomplishments too, because it's a whole lot of accolades on that panel. And I mean, it's
Oh, yeah. I'm a fan. I'm over here fanboying on all those sisters. Oh, big time. That's going to be a night, you know.
oh, it
There's not a
is,
listen,
building that can hold that.
right? The energy is
and,
gonna be so high, so
and
Yeah.
high.
I'm humbled that they even accepted this
Right.
and allowed me to put this on and just step back and say, Queens, tell your story.
I love it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have been trying for 2 years to have an event very similar to this in Fort Wayne, and I just could not get any traction. You told me about it in less than a week. You had it put together. I
Yeah.
am
Yep.
so proud of you
Yep.
and that work right there because I don't know if y'all know how I feel about things, but we don't do enough in Fort Wayne and Lake County and Vanderburgh County, in my opinion. And this is
Word.
just another way
Yeah.
to engage. There's over almost 200,000, a little bit over 200,000 people in Fort Wayne. We need
Hmm.
to be turning that city out. You turn out those cities, then we
Mhm.
can make real changes across the state, because you can't
Yep.
gerrymander the attorney general. You can't
Mhm.
gerrymander the governor. You can't gerrymander the United States senator. You can't gerrymander those races. But if we turn out, oh my
Right.
God, we could be
Yeah.
sending a Democrat to Washington. If we can have a Democratic governor if we turn out. Ah,
But you
Right.
gotta
anyway, tell the
young gets it done.
young gets
It
y'all.
takes
Hey,
that
I
it
love it. So
takes that young person.
tell the people where it's going to be so we can get that on their calendars.
Okay, so we are going to be at the Allen County Public Library in room AB, and it is an amazing setup. You know, they got They got the microphones with
Audio,
all the
camera,
podiums,
everything.
audio,
Yeah.
cameras, everything in there. All the tools we need for this to be successful. And the best part, it's no charge. This is open to the public.
Right on.
I
Right
love
on.
that. I love
That's the
that.
best part.
But it takes resources to do things. So I'm gonna
Yes, it
say,
does.
donate to Allen County Young Dems so they could, continue to bring y'all the resources and the things. Click on the Act Blue link. Click on the Act Blue link.
Yeah.
Do that.
Because just
Indiana.
know,
Yeah.
we got it
Indiana.
coming. We got the black women, and guess what? We're gonna do a black men's panel as well because we got more. This was just the first one.
I love it.
I like it. Yeah. So planning, you love that. He talks about it one day and the next day he's telling you how it is and he's got a poster for it. So there.
That's it. That's it. Indiana's own Dana Black with my co-host, my special smooth operator, and Mark Gevaart, special guest all the way from Fort Wayne, Sean Johnson, president of the Allen County Young Dems. Okay, we're going to turn your hat around now. You are no longer the president of the the Allen County Young Dems.
He could do that. He's now candidate.
Now we're talking to the candidate for Fort Wayne City Council at large. And as I do with every candidate, tell the people who you are and where you come from.
Name is Sean Johnson, born and raised in Fort Wayne, Indiana, product of a single mother, worked 2 and 3 jobs to take care of me, did the best she possibly could with the resources that she had. She got me through school. I graduated from the great Northside High School, 3-sport athlete, was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Things were not easy at all. Father wasn't around, but when Mother's Day and Father's Day come around, I make sure I call my mom because she was there through thick and thin. Every day. What you see before you is a product of a strong Black woman. And I couldn't
wait now. I gotta interrupt. Did you hear what was the big boy name? The commentator. I couldn't even think his name. That's how insignificant he was. He went on on Fox and told the people that the reason why the black men beat up and killed the other black man was because there was a woman leading the chief that was the chief of police. It was a black. I can't even tell you his name because big boy.
Sorry, I missed that.
I know y'all know who I'm talking about, but I can't say his name, and there's a reason why his name doesn't stick in my brain. So you mean to tell me that single black women are not raising and leading men to kill each other? What?
Oh.
I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. Go back to your story, bro.
Don't
pay me no attention.
Without my mother, there's no way that I would be the man that I am now and the man that I'm going to continue to be in the future. I'm a person that cares about all people, especially as a Black American male. I've dealt with things that folks, should not have had to deal with. I was involved in the protest 2 years ago for the murder of George Floyd. I did stand up. I did rally all the troops. I do not apologize for it because those things need to be talked about and they need to be dealt with. And as I continue to grow politically because of another strong Black woman, Sheila Curry Campbell, she woke up the inner political beast. She woke it up and I just, she gave me different books to read. She taught me about campaign finances. She taught me about an actual strategy behind what needs to go down. And I sat back, I got involved with different candidates, newly elected Kyle Wilson Miller, Austin Knox, and Gary Snyder. And the opportunity came. One of our great leaders, Glenn Hines, announced that he wasn't, running for re-election. And I said, you know what? I said a prayer, went to sleep, woke back up, and I said, it's my time. And I went and I filed my candidacy.
Right.
That's
right
what's
on.
up.
That's what's up. Absolutely. And Glenn Hines served since 1999. He took care of, he's an educator, has done some fantastic things in his district, then went to the at-large, now is president of the city council too. So Glenn has an illustrious career, and he's the kind of mentor that Sean can follow and so many others. And they paved the way. They've done the hard work to give him a chance to be able where he's at, which is great stuff.
Yes, I love that. And see, that's that insight that I wouldn't have. That's why I bring you on, Mark. So
Yeah.
every candidate, when they're out knocking on doors and they're meeting their constituents, has at least 3 items that are tops on their list, the issues that they want to tackle. What are the issues when you're running for council? What are those issues that you want to tackle, bro?
So I'm all about growth. That is the biggest thing. We need to talk about growth. We need to grow our affordable housing. Young people are moving out of Indiana left and right because they cannot afford to live here because of inflation. Everything is expensive. Food is expensive. Gas is expensive. Lights, water, gas is expensive. We need to help our young people maintain their way of living, right? Imagine being 25 years old and you can't pay your rent, can't pay lights, water, and gas, and you're working a full-time job. You may have a child, you may not, but it's still expensive. You got to pay your car
Mm-hmm.
note, car
Mm-hmm.
insurance, health insurance. Like those are things that are going to continue to pile up. And the last thing you want to worry about is paying lights, water, and gas and rent. So we need to work on our affordable housing. We also need to work on overall equity. Okay. Young people have such an entrepreneurial mindset now. That
Mm-hmm.
is just the way young people are moving. We need to
That's real
continue to
talk.
tap
Yeah.
into that. And
Yeah.
because we don't have enough programs and things geared towards that, young people are suffering. Okay. Next thing, okay, we need to have proper representation. We have people making policy, right? Which it could be good, could be bad, but there's no younger perspective. And because there's no younger perspective, young people don't get thought about. We don't get there's nothing that gears towards what we need and what we want. It just doesn't happen. And also,
Mhm.
fiscal priority. When we are moving money around on these budgets, we need to take the time to look at where our money is going, where the rollover money is going. Those are
Hmm.
things that we don't tap into because honestly, a lot of times young folks don't even know where those budgets are. We don't even know where those
How to
budgets are
access it?
going, how to
Absolutely.
access it.
Hmm.
And
Some of the
let's
old ones
be
don't
honest.
either, bro. That's real talk.
Right on.
They don't. I mean, I'm
And
serious.
Yeah.
They don't know either. And then if they feel like they might even break the machine if you tell them where it is. I'm just
Hmm.
saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
it's just things like that we need to do a better job of focusing on. And I
Hmm.
mean, and that was just our some of the issues, but those are the ones that I want to tackle the most as a small business owner. There's things that I understand, things that I've struggled with, things that I've been successful at through education, through going through it, through having a different mentor, through having help, through having a budget to look at. When you look at a budget and it says $15 million is going over here, but yet we got people over here continuing to really struggle. What are we
Right.
doing? Where's the priority in that?
I
That's
love
not
it.
teaching young people that you care about them. And
Hmm.
that's what this is about. That's what this run is. We need new young blood, and I'm that guy, and I'm excited.
Sean's website is sj the number 4 growth.com. SJ Sean Johnson the number 4 growth.com. And
Right.
cool stuff there. He'll go down and get into things like he was just talking about. Growth is gain, respect, opportunity, wealth, trust, and healing. And just great stuff. And I want to point out that when you go to that website, the first thing you see is a nice black and white video of Sean in downtown. He's looking clean. He's got the hat. He's working, but you can't hear his voice. But you hear, Sean, what do we hear when we listen to that?
You hear the mother who raised me, who taught me, who gave me everything that I am. You will hear her. See, a lot of people call it singing. She wasn't singing. She was singing.
Singing,
And
honey.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
It's
you
feel,
know,
you feel it.
it is something that I'm a person of feel. I'm a person of auras, and I
Hmm.
wanted people to really understand, through her voice,
Right on.
that feeling of what I've been through and what I come from, and I really wanted that to resonate. And who better to sing that song than my mother, the person who gave birth to me?
Right on. I want to plug that. Your website's
Absolutely.
great. Good stuff. If you want to understand, go to that sj4growth.com.
I included the
Yep.
link in the chat, baby. I'm starting to learn how to do multiple things. See,
I
that's why
love
you
that.
bring a co-host on. He asks a question, I can type. I'm
You've
loving
got a
this.
second for that. That's right. I'm here to
Right.
assist. I'll take
That's
the
it.
assist.
That's it. Now I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play old, school devil's advocate because I think I need you to speak to it as a candidate. I love your passion for wanting to inspire and give young people a platform. But when you're elected to office, you are elected to everybody and not just
Right.
young people. I want to.
Correct.
I'm gonna ask you a specific question, but I want to bring this up because these are the things that people are talking about in the state house that will
Mhm.
eventually have an impact as it trickles down into the community. Lawmakers in both chambers have filed legislation that would prevent the state's public retirement system from working with banks or investing in funds that prioritize environmental, social, or governance policies, including those that have restrictions on certain industries such as coal or firearm manufacturers. House Bill 1008 was heard by the Financial Institutions Committee last week, but has yet to receive a vote. The bill carried by Representative Ethan Manning of Logansport is priority legislation for the House Republicans. A similar bill has already passed out of the Senate committee. Senate Bill 292 was authored by Senator Travis Holdman of Markell, and Senate Bill 372 was authored by Eric Koch of Bedford. Is similar. Another bill, Senate Bill 268, would require INPRS to divest from Chinese companies, blah, 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 blah. But the reason why I bring this up, okay, so this is a labor talk, right? Because it's about
Right,
the pensions
right.
at the labor unions.
These are our folks that worked for their entire life for the county, the city, the state. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And then you have these people with their agenda of we don't want to deal with climate change. That's something, honestly, like, yo, Sean, when we're dead and gone, y'all gonna be here with all of this global warming and how, but the idea that our state house is trying to legislate how the pension funds can be invested, and these are some of the concerns that seniors have. Now, obviously, at a state and local level, that's not an issue that you guys are concerned with. But first of all, Mark, speak to this piece of legislation, and then Sean, I want you to tell us how you plan on addressing, the needs of the older folks in your community as well.
Well, the quick runaround is once I saw Travis Holdman, and that's my guy, unfortunately, I get to deal with that. So I sent him a note about it and haven't received anything back about it, but my email's already out telling him, hey, stop this. I'm not happy with it. The biggest thing for me is they're going to tell these folks who manage this pension fund that they can't say, or if this company, is talking about environmental legislation, or we want to stop coal, or we want to stop oil, or whatever it would be, or even a firearm manufacturer saying, look, we're going to stop supporting these AR-15 manufacturers. We're not going to invest in that. You can't say that, is what he's saying. This bill will allow them to invest in whatever they want. You cannot put restrictions on where that's going. There are so many places in the investment world to make money back for these pension funds that shouldn't even be an issue, but they create the issue. That's what the supermajority has done. They create the problem, and now they want to legislate it.
Absolutely.
That's how they work it.
I thought they liked small government. They swear.
No, overreach and stack them high.
Because to me, the fact that you are literally trying to tell an investment company how they can invest the money that doesn't, and I understand they talking about they wanted to limit it to state pension funds, right? The state employees' pension, but still, how do you legislate how?
And the roots are anti-labor. They're anti-labor working people.
Because if I can invest in something that is going to benefit my retirees that are receiving this pension that is significant, because honestly, it's not renewable energy is the growing economic sector. Why wouldn't you want a company who is responsible for the funds of hundreds of thousands of retirees to maximize their investment opportunities? That is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and let's understand too, take it back to where Sean Johnson stands too. His generation, they don't understand a pension because it's not something that's available to them
anymore.
The
Not mine either.
supermajority has made it a evil thing. It's ruining everything. No, it's not. It's taking care of the people. That's what we should be doing.
Exactly.
It
They
goes
don't
back
want
to
Social
Reagan.
Security. They don't want
They
Social
want to
Security,
dismantle all
and they
those
don't no
nets.
Social Security, and they don't want pensions. So what are elderly people who, not elderly people, those of us past 55 who are being treated with ageism, and we're being aged out of the working class. What are we supposed to do? You don't want the government to help us. You don't want the pensions to help us. The 401k is a hot mess. So what are we supposed to do as seniors? And so, Sean, you're going to get elderly folks with housing issues. You talked about affordable housing. If you're on a fixed income, you can't make any more money because your income is fixed. When you're in your mid 60s, early 70s, you're not as upwardly mobile. You done been all that. Speak to those folks. I know that you got like a lot of good young ideas, but you still got an aging community in Fort Wayne. How are you going to take care of them?
So one thing is, not everything is about reinventing the wheel. It's about strengthening the wheel so it'll last long after I'm gone. A lot of these policies that we're coming up with, these are things that these individuals don't have to deal with because their pockets are lined with dollars. They have all this money, right? So we're making policy for people that, one, we don't know, and two, we haven't been through their shoes. It goes back to what I was saying about making a decision for somebody without understanding and knowing who they are. So the first question is, why are we making policy for situations that we don't have to deal with? That's one. And two, did you go talk to them about that before you decided to put this into a policy?
Great question.
The answer is no, because their pockets are already lined. And that's a problem. We got folks who have spent years working in factories, working in schools, firefighters, anything. You're spending all these years working, taking care of your family, right? Offer some person who doesn't even have to deal with your situation, who's filthy rich, to tell you, oh, you don't get that Social Security, you don't get this, and you don't get that. So what I plan to do is bring it right to their face and line the situations out. So you mean to tell me that my 55-year-old aunt doesn't deserve to be taken care of after she's given the government 55 years of her tax dollars? You mean to tell me that this elderly
she was working from the moment she got out of the womb? I'm just messing with you.
But that's what it comes down to. A lot of these guys, some of these legislators, right? They were born with a silver spoon in their mouth.
Man.
Everything was given to them. Nothing was earned. So you mean to tell me you think it's okay for you to try to use the pull yourself up by your bootstraps? Well, you never had to do it. So how are you going to tell somebody else that they need to do it? It's a lot of hypocrisy going on in this policy.
Ooh. Yeah.
And
there's a
hashtag.
Heck yeah.
And the way you fix that is simply having enough energy to go toe to toe with them. You get you some good allies in there, like Senator Hunley, and Kyle Miller, Senator Kyle Miller. Hey, let's have a conversation. Let's bring this stuff to the front, right? Because there's no other way, right? You have to change these legislators. You're not going to change their minds. It's not going to happen. You have to change the legislatures themselves, which means that people got to get out and vote and read these policies that they're talking about, because none of these policies are helping the working family. It's not helping us.
None.
And we continue to struggle. Meanwhile, they continue to get rich.
And this whole it goes back to right to work too, because that is what has driven the wages to where we are today. And they can say all they want. They're going to bring jobs because they did away with these. You have to have a union or forced unionism, as they called it. Not at all. It's a choice. It's still one of our rights. And that's what they've tried to take away. What they've done is we are here today with low wages based on the work they did just a dozen years ago.
Exactly. And everything is we do this now, this is what's going to happen later. It's a cause and an effect. That's what it is. And until we as people decide to dig into these policies and bring it to the people, things won't change. We have to fight. You
They
got to
want the
fight
apathy. They want
for
the
your
apathy
right.
they've got. You absolutely fight for your right, brother. Right on. And it's the apathy of the voter. They love that. The supermajority
Mm-hmm.
loves that. Stay away. We'll just run everything into the dirt.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the working families are struggling.
Struggling still
all
every day.
day.
To tell a person that they can't get Social Security and they can't get a pension when they've given 30, 40 years of their life working to the brim, to the bone to take care of their
Yeah.
family is
Barely making ends meet
absolutely
when they were working.
Right.
it's
It's not
ridiculous.
an
It's,
entitlement.
it's shameful.
They should be
It's
ashamed. Their
nothing
mama would
but
be
a
mad
They're
at them.
not. You cannot shame the shameless. You cannot. Okay, these
nothing
clowns are.
but
I mean,
plain old bigotry.
They were making. Listen, y'all. If they cannot do anything about guns after Sandy Hook, if they don't recognize an insurrection when people were scaling the wall like they were freaking Spider-Man, do you think you can shame these people? You cannot shame the shameless. These folks do not. And I want us to dive into this because what are you going to do when you have all of these folks that you done cut Social Security, you done cut Medicare and Medicaid, housing prices are going through the roof, the inflation is skyrocketing. What are you going to do when you have hungry, starving humans on the street and they look like the people from Ukraine. They look like the people from Switzerland. They look like the people from Sweden. Because when they look like they come from Central South America or the Congo, they don't give a damn. But when they look like, they ready to go in arms when they are of European descent. But when they are European descent and you have cut off all the resources that everyone had access to, then what are you going to do? And it's like they're not looking at things long term. They looking at, okay, this lobbyist came to my office and told me he gonna slap me with 10,000. I've seen bills that alter generations of policy for $10,000.
Right.
It's
That's what
right
Right
there.
to Work did. It's all these. Just pick
Yeah.
one of your favorite things off the wall there. Same thing. Throw a dart. You're going to hit one of those things. Someone made some money, walked away. That was it.
And it wasn't a significant amount of money for them to run multiple campaigns.
It was momentary money.
That's why it's so important that we talk about the issues that are happening right now and how policy impacts them. Everything that we do. The fact that I have high-speed internet fiber to my house is because of a policy that was written that said AT&T can now do this thing.
Right.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
we need to expand that. And the Republican Party talks about it, but still never gets it done until the federal government drops money on them to do it, standing with a surplus. Come on, man.
Oh my God. I mean, and so those are the things like your seniors are going to be up there struggling and those of us Gen Xers and millennials and Gen Y, whatever.
All the generations.
Because the boomers are hanging on. I'm going to be honest with y'all. The more modern medicine has gotten better, the longer these boomers are hanging on. I ain't hating because I love the boomer generation. They brought me Motown, so I'm good.
Right on. You understand the roots are in music, sister. Right on.
They brought me Motown. I'm good. They brought me Stax. They brought me, Parliament Funkadelic. I'm good with the boomers.
Gap Band.
Good.
Come on.
I'm good with the boomers. Oh, that's you bring in some good stuff, and I gotta tell you kind of like an old soul. I think you've been here before, and yes, you are young chronologically, but that brain is not young. You have a very, very bright future ahead of you. Win, lose, draw in this election does not matter. I have a feeling we're gonna see you for the next 30 years.
Oh yeah, it's family history. My family's been doing this since the 1700s, and honestly, until the protest, I hadn't looked into my family history. And I looked into my family history and I found a dissertation from Montana University. And it talked about my family's history and the things that we've done going back to my great-great-grandfather, Hosea, Hosea Easton. And that is my lineage. We were lawyers, doctors, teachers, politicians, abolitionists. Movers. And so that stuff just literally it's in me, and I didn't know about it until the protest happened, and until I looked into my family history, and then I decided this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It gave me purpose, and that's why I get up and do this every single day. It gives me purpose, and it lets me know that the work I'm doing is going to shape tomorrow. And I love every single second of it. Give me somebody from the other side that wants to argue a point them in the direction, tell them to sit down with me. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk this out. Let's be real.
Ready to hit that challenge.
Let's do it.
And the other thing that I love, there's authenticity is unfortunately difficult for some people. It is. I mean,
Really? Right.
bruh, how many
Be
times
who
we
you
talk?
are.
Yeah, well,
Be who you are.
no, real talk. No, real talk, bro. Code switching. You know what I'm saying? Like there are times where we go into spaces. If we want to have a small amount of success, we better figure out how to code switch quick, fast, in a hurry. Bro, you're not code switching.
Nope.
You are in your space. You are in your zone. Like, I'm just gonna come and show up as me. You don't put on no, I mean,
Mhm.
and I need people to recognize the significance of that, because they're
Mhm.
like when the Abdul Shabazz decides he wants to run for mayor. His name is Abdul Hakim Shabazz, and he's gonna have all the Muslim sound. He's a chocolate brother, and he's gonna look the part, but he ain't the part. We know all skin folk ain't kin folk. Why are you so comfortable, bro, not code switching? Because you have not code switched one time on this show. And don't tell me it's because of me, because they know. I
Well,
don't give a damn.
it all goes back to the amazing black woman that brought me into this world. The one thing she would always preach is, if you can't be yourself, then you don't need to be in that space. And I
Oof.
absolutely refuse to do anything other than and be anybody other than who I am. I'm not trying to. I mean, I'm trying to win over the voters with being real.
That's
We
how it
see
works.
so much fake crap going on in the state house, going on in our local politics, going
Yep.
on in our federal politics. We need real people who have been through it, who understands what it's like to work a job, who understands what it's like to be hungry, who understands what it's like not to have lights, water, and
Mm,
gas, who
mm.
understands what it's
Yep.
like
Yep.
to take my shirt off and give it to somebody else, even though I know I don't have another clean shirt. We need people like that representing us. Only then will our policy get fixed. Only then will people start to have a voice. Only then will people start to be comfortable being who they are. Because
Right.
we as black men are taught that growing up, something a lot of us are taught you got to be rough, tough, and buff all the
Gotta be
time because
hard.
they're
Gotta be
not
hard.
gonna accept you. No, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna be who I am. I'm gonna love who I love, which is honestly everybody. I honestly could care less what you look like. Just take a bath.
Man, if you
There you go.
can. Wait a minute
Yeah.
now.
If you
Yeah.
Because
If you
can,
got the hot
if you
water.
can,
Yeah.
if you
if you
can,
can.
Mhm.
let's
Look,
be real. Because
look, but
sometimes, my
I know
daddy
what it's
got,
like to take a shower in the cold. I know what it's
Right.
like to
Right.
take a
yeah,
bath with cold
I
water
feel
because
you
the heat
though.
is cold. I know what it's like.
I
So
feel
Right.
it's
you.
like we need that level of realism in our politics now more than ever.
I
And,
love
and
it.
Sean, I want to touch on one quick thing too. You notice that jewelry he's wearing around his neck. Sean, talk about your necklace, what you're wearing there. Talk
Yeah.
about that.
So this is actually my cousin's ashes.
Mm.
And I'm gonna try not to, get emotional because I miss him every single day. He
But he's
was the
with you every
person
day. Yeah.
he was the person behind everything. His name was Bryce Moore. He literally was my barber. I was his first mess up, you know. And he just went to sleep and he never woke up.
Wow.
And
How old were you?
so I was 25.
And how old was he?
He was 34.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I had just came back in town. My brother had graduated from high school down in Birmingham, Alabama. He cut my hair. I came back and called him. I was like, "Hey man, I'm back in town. Everybody down there was feeling my haircut. I need to get a touch up." And he was like, "Yeah, let's hang out. Call me Wednesday." He went to sleep Tuesday night and didn't wake up. And so I keep him with me every single
Damn.
day, and everything that I do. When I'm doing something I ain't got no business doing, it
Hey.
gets heavy. It gets
Yeah.
heavy, and so
Yeah.
it's his way of telling me, stop that.
Sit
And
your
I tell
behind
you
down.
what, his charisma and everything that he stood for, it just flows through me. I miss him every single day, all day.
You know what
But
he
then
telling you. You know what he telling you. Don't
he
be out
telling me
here
to keep
embarrassing
going.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what he always said. He
Yeah.
he would say his number one phrase was, "Make it make sense."
Make it
That's what
make
he used to
sense.
always say. Make it make sense. If it don't make sense, why are you doing it?
Right.
And so, you know, he's a big part of everything that I've done, everything that I am, and it don't come off unless I get in the shower.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I wanted people to know that too, because you'll always see that that's outside the shirt. It's always visible. It's always there. And I had this conversation with him when I started to learn about who Sean was, and that took me to that road. And knowing his mother as a professional musician, and so I mean, I know, and his aunt Sharon Tucker is his aunt. Come on, man, because he's just got all the good things going. You know,
think I can get her on my show this year? I be begging. How much big?
You know
I might have an inside scoop now, right?
I think you got that inside scoop now. Yeah.
Well,
I'm just saying.
She's a very, very, very busy woman, and I'm blessed that she even takes time out.
I get it.
To talk to her.
She's that person though who will. She will.
You know, she you know, I put a bug in her ear though.
Right on, that's all I'm asking.
But she's a very,
you
very
just got the inside
woman,
track.
and she is
You create those relationships for a reason. You know, everybody help everybody. That's what's up. Indiana's own Dana Black turned left, y'all. We ran over a little bit, but I didn't care. This was one of the best conversations. Mark, I want you to talk about what's going on up there and wrap up this discussion about this young man and the work that's going on in Fort Wayne in a way that Indiana's own just can't do.
All right. Thank you, Dana Black. I really appreciate you bringing me on here, too. But Sean Johnson, like I said earlier in the show, this is the week of Sean Johnson. Here he is on Turn Left. And then on Sunday, when My Labor Radio show gets posted, and just like Dana Black's stuff that she's doing all the time, the Black Pearl Studios are bringing you the best information from every corner of the state of Indiana. We're doing our part here in Northeast Indiana with My Labor Radio. Any platform you're at, just click on it, subscribe to it. I'm not asking you for money or anything like that. We're bringing you people like Sean Johnson so you can better understand who they are as a person and how they're going to be a great candidate in your area. Those are the same things that Black Pearl Studios and Dana Black is doing in Indianapolis as well, too. Click and follow so that when those shows come up, you're notified about it, too, so you get a chance to be a part of that. One of the great things that's happening this month at the Allen County Public Library on the 22nd of February is the Black Women of Excellence, and Sean Johnson is the one that put that together. Sean, what's your start time for that? Is like 6, 7?
Start time is 6. We're gonna have some refreshments and things like that.
Hold on. Yeah, it starts at 5.
Starts at 5 with the refreshments and meet and greet. You get a chance to talk to all these amazing Black women, and then we start the show at 6.
Yeah,
and it's going to be.
Looking at your list of people, it's like the who's who. I mean, it's not just about Black women. It's about what they've done in this world that they're in, and you, no matter who you are, my Korean friends, my whoever Laotian friends, please stop in and listen to this. This is going to be great. Now, follow that with the Allen County Democratic Party has their Obama dinner coming up in the month of March. And we're going to jump into an after party that the Indiana Young Democrats are running. Sean, drop that for just a quick show of what we're doing there.
So that is just a time for us to just get together, have a good time for a couple hours right across the street at the Embassy Theater. We're going to be on the rooftop, the ballroom rooftop, you know, and it's just going to be just a good time. Come on down.
You got musicians, you got comedians there, you got Kyle Miller, State Representative Kyle Miller, Young Gets It Done, and you want to be in that room.
Yeah, you definitely want to be in that room. My guy, Aaron Montgomery, he's already done some work and sold out the embassy, good friend of mine, and I just wanted to add a different feel to politics. We have to change the way people think about politics. Once we change the way people think about politics, everything will change. So we got a comedian, we got a good DJ. You know, we're gonna have some great people there. You know, just come and spend some time with us and just get to know us. I'm old.
I'm coming to hang. Yeah, absolutely.
Come hang with us. I went and got me a special jacket for that one too. Listen,
what?
We stepping out and we're gonna have a very, very amazing time, and that's after the Obama dinner that's put on by the local party. Shout out to Derek Camp and the local party. You know, they've been doing their part, helping me out as well. And I want to make sure they get their flowers.
I love it. And, you know, all of District 3 is showing up and showing out. I got to always give a shout out to Christine Bohm, who's the District 3 chair. They be they puts it in every time. And but look, I am going to make a shameless plug. It ain't even shameless because it's my show. Listen,
Right.
I know that when he ran that list of amazing black women down and you're down in Evansville, you were like, dang, I'm not going to be able to drive all the way up to Fort Wayne
Right.
to hear this. Oh my God. No worries. Black Pearl Studios is going to live stream it so that you have an opportunity, no matter where you are in the state, to see and hear the works of these black women and see what
That's
Allen
right.
County Young Democrats are doing. They're not charging anything, so it's not like he's selling tickets. So we
Right.
decided, like, yo, we gonna stream this. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there, shameless plug, because Black Pearl Studios, that's what we do. We live stream your event. We make sure, people can find out about who you are and you can get your message out to everybody. Sean, before I go to my last little bit, tell the people where they can find you to support your campaign.
So you can find me on Facebook under Deshaun Johnson. You can find me on Twitter at SJ Told You So. You can find me on Instagram. You can find, look, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me. I don't do Snapchat. I don't do that. You can find me on Act Blue at SJ.
The link is right
for growth.
there.
Right.
Please, ma'am, please, sir, please, them, please, they, please donate to my campaign. I'm Young Gets It Done, and with your support, I can continue to stay on this journey for growth, and that's what it's about.
I love it. I love it. I can't thank you two enough for joining me tonight. Mark, as always, I'm going to see you multiple times. Hopefully this year,
yeah.
There's a lot of good municipal
We got
races
some
that are
work to
happening.
do.
We have
Yes.
work to do. Sean, I wish you the best of luck in your campaign. I'm going to put my disclaimer out there. Candidate's appearance on Turn Left does not mean it's an endorsement from Indiana's own. I have to stay neutral because of my work that I do with Act Blue. I want to make sure that every candidate maximizes their digital fundraising efforts. Okay, now I want to do one last plug. My guy, Miguel Hampton, down in Jeffersonville. Y'all know? Yeah. Like, dude's always doing something. He's doing
He is
something
live all the time.
all of the time. I want to plug an event that he has going on. It's the Move Forward. The Move Forward will test everything you know. It's time for action. It's a series of open community discussions and dialogue. This is a series of live stream panel discussions and authentic conversations centered around the history of race, ethnic African-American relations with the region, Southern Indiana, the history of racism, the impact of systemic racism in both the white and African-American communities. I'm going to drop the link to his event page. You guys support my man Miguel. He is down there doing some events. I had his flyer in the slideshow for you guys. There's so much happening. And I'm all.
These are all the corners of the state we're talking about here too. You wouldn't know about this if Dana Black didn't bring this to you right now too. So, and Miguel he's a yeoman. It just works hard all the time. We were talking about this earlier, that if your schedule's open, you start thinking to yourself, boy, I'm guilty. Dana Black tells me I feel guilty. I'm going to get on the treadmill. I don't have nothing to do. That's that one day she had. That was last month. This month, she's working booked all the time.
Yeah.
Miguel Hampton's the same cat. He's doing that. Sean Johnson, he was running with his phone before this event I'm coming. I just got to get to this room here. I'm going to take my coat off. And, these people are the ones that get it done. This is why we support those folks.
That's right. That's why I always tell people there's always some do nothing nobodies. Always telling to do something somebody's to sit down. No, I'm going to elevate y'all. Indiana's own Dana Black, Turn Left. Next week, I have Connor Wright and Stephanie Crandall. So I'm telling you, my shows are booked up. There's a lot of opportunities for you to hear from candidates from all over the state. Indiana's own and Turn Left. We're bringing it to you. Feel free to drop a line about what you want to see. If I can get a candidate on, I remember I told y'all I was trying to do like mayors by themselves. I can't. There's just no way. So I have the mayors on together, and I have council people and anybody else that's running together. I want to make sure I separate that executive level out because there could be some conflict if they're running for mayor in a town. I don't want to put them with a council person. I'd rather have my mayors together, have my council people together. I want to protect everybody and give everybody an opportunity to shine. That's it. Indiana's own Dana Black, Turn Left. I got a great show for you next week. I will holler at you next time. Peace. Turn Left is the property of Black Pearl IT Solutions. Executive producer, Indiana's own Dana Black. Music by www.bensound.com.